All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to the Pax8 Microsoft Monthly Update. First one of 2024. A lot of stuff to come. As you can see, Copilot is here. We're going to have a lot of information today. So, what are we learning about? What are we going through? I'm going to go through some really quick introductions, tell you who's going to be talking to you about what. We're going to have some program updates. We will definitely have a strong focus on AI and Copilot readiness today. Followed by that, we're going to go into business applications. We're going to wrap it out with Solgari. Some of your presenters today, if I've not had the pleasure of meeting you, my name is Kristen Fehrenbach. I'm the Senior Director of our Microsoft Go-to-Market team here at Pax8. You're going to hear from Devin, Tanya, Britton, Elliot, and Matt throughout the session today. So please make sure that you're putting all your questions into the chat. We've got a big team on the back end to make sure we are fielding all of your questions that you could have today. From Solgari, we're going to have Joe. He's going to jump on at the end here, and he's going to go through all things Solgari. So really excited to hear from him. But without going too much further, I want to introduce Devin Landtrip, who's taking our program updates today. How are you doing, Devin?
I'm good. Can you see my screen okay, Kristen?
I sure can, and you are ready to go. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, like Kristen said, I'm Devin Landtrip, a Microsoft Programs Manager on our corporate team. And today I'm going to talk about a couple things, starting with the legacy to NCE migration. So this started on January 11th, so we're a couple weeks in now. And just as a couple reminders for you guys, the transition occurs at the subscription renewal date. So not everybody's transition happened on January 11th. So once your subscription is up for renewal, it's going to happen at 12 a.m. UTC time. And migrations, if you wait for the Microsoft-led migration, they'll have a 7-day modification window for any changes or cancellations after they process the migration. So you want to be sure you go in this 7 days if you want to change your commitment term, your billing terms, your number of seats, and if you want to cancel. So if you do decide to cancel, you only have 7 days to retrieve your data before it is lost. So want to make sure you keep an eye on your renewal dates and make sure you're going in there either prior to the migration and doing it yourself, or if you do end up waiting for the Microsoft migration, you want to be sure to retrieve your data before it's gone if you're deciding to cancel. All subs that Microsoft migrates will be set to an annual commitment term with the same billing terms that your legacy subscription had. So if you want to go to a monthly commitment term, you'll need to go in there after the migration and switch that commitment term. If you're okay with your same billing term, you can leave it be and it will be the same that you had on legacy. But there is an upfront annual or the monthly billing option. But the month-to-month commitment will have the 20% increase in price. Subscriptions that are tied to one another. So if you have a base and an add-on, as long as both subscriptions are migratable and they are eligible for migration, the migration will go through for both at the same time. If you have an add-on that's maybe a public sector offer that's not out yet, neither of those subscriptions will migrate with the Microsoft-led migration. Once those public sector offers are available, you can either wait for the July migration date for that one, or you can go in and do it yourself once that becomes available. Some subs don't have a migration path. So these are subscriptions that are either the product is retiring or maybe it does have the public sector attached to it. So you'll need to go in and check the retirement guide and see if your subscriptions are eligible. And if they aren't eligible for migration, Microsoft will not migrate those. Those will stay on legacy. So you will have to go in and either purchase on NCE yourself and cancel the legacy SKU, or just remain on legacy. As a reminder, Microsoft let us know that the public sector offers release was delayed a bit. So it was on January 1st. They pushed it back to March 1st, but it's still happening in 4 waves. So waves 1 and 2 will be on March 1st, and then April and May for waves 3 and 4. And that migration won't start until July. And the last day, May 1st, is going to be the last day that you can purchase legacy subscriptions under public sector. After May 1st, only the NCE subscriptions will be available for those offers. Self-upgrading. So I know this slide is very text heavy, so feel free to screenshot. This is if you're planning on self-upgrading before the Microsoft-led migration goes through. So we encourage you to do this just because then you can set your commitment terms, you can set your seats, you can do whatever you need to do before waiting for Microsoft. If you wait for the Microsoft migration, your subscriptions are going to be locked 24 hours prior. So if you have a renewal date coming up and you're trying to wait for the last minute, don't wait until the day before. Try to get ahead of it a couple days in advance to make those changes and self-migrate yourself. We do have a tool, and I'll show you on the next slide how you can upgrade in our platform. And this is only available for products that have an eligible migration path. So like we said, if they don't have a migration path or they're retiring, you won't be able to use the upgrade button in our platform. If you are migrating in the middle of your term, in the middle of a legacy commitment, they'll inherit the legacy commitment end date. So if you're wanting a new legacy or a new NCE commitment date, if you want to start fresh, you'll need to purchase on NCE and then cancel your legacy subscription. Otherwise, you'll be upgrading midterm and you will not have a new subscription date. Upgrades, partial or full, do not open a 7-day cancellation window. So because this is just seen as an upgrade, it's not seen as a new order, so there won't be that window to make any changes. They are permanent. So you'll need to be sure you're actually selecting the correct stuff, correct billing terms, commitment terms, number of seats that you want, because there won't be the option to cancel or make changes. Let's see. When you are upgrading, it will create a new subscription ID. So you will need to resync your PSA, and it will not co-term with any existing sub of that same product in the customer tenant. So because of this new subscription ID, we want to make sure you guys are resyncing your PSA, making sure everything's up to date and correct. But yeah, so screenshot this slide. And next, I will show you in our platform, you can see there's this little upgrade button on the top right screen. Oh, Kristen just popped up, which means she likely has a question.
I do. Just before we move on, we're having a couple of questions. What is happening with nonprofit and maybe some of the government happening right now? I know we had some timeline shifts, so would you mind just going through that with us?
Yeah. So Microsoft pushed back to March 1st. So January 1 was their previous date, and they pushed it. So it'll still be four waves 1 and 2 on March 1st, wave 3 on April 1st, and wave 4 on May 1st. Like I said, after May 1st, you won't be able to purchase public sector under legacy at all. Those products will be gone. So you won't be able to make any new purchases for those subscriptions. And then the Microsoft-led migration for public sector will start in July. Does that answer your question, Chris?
Sure does. Thank you.
Okay, so in the Pax8 platform, if you're wanting to go in and upgrade your legacy SKUs to NCE, there is this fancy little upgrade button in the top right. You can do this on your own in the platform. It will show the NCE version of the product that you're upgrading, and then you can select your commitment and billing terms and all of those fancy details. The licenses will not need to be reassigned, and the upgrade tool is available for all base licensing and add-ons as long as they are eligible for migration. If you go in there and it's not eligible, you won't be able to migrate. If you have subscriptions on an annual billing commitment, the upgrade button will inherit that legacy renewal date, so it will not start a new 12-month commitment, and you will not have the 7-day cancellation window like I said previously. So if you are wanting a new NCE commitment date, you'll need to purchase new and then go in and cancel those legacy subscriptions. And then, like we said, we try to keep everything easy for you. So our NCE blog, the link is attached. This is where you're going to find all of our up-to-date information on all things NCE, all the migrations, add-ons, upgrades, anything you could think. You can find that in the blog. And also, if you have any other questions, just reach out to your Pax8 account team. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about some pricing changes. So starting February 1st, Microsoft announced that the Norwegian krone and the Swedish krona will have some price increases. This is for legacy and NCE seat-based subscriptions, if you already are in a commitment, those will be price locked until the renewal that happens after February 1st. So if you wanted to go in and purchase an annual upfront, you will be locked in at that lower price before the price changes. You are responsible for updating and maintaining the MSRP in the Pax8 platform, and this is part of our partner agreement. And just remember to resync your PSA after you go in and make those changes. And I think that is all for me. Kristen, do we have any more questions or?
You know what? Ashley Moretti's in the chat and she is answering those as we go. But I know that next we have Britton. So Devin, thank you so much for joining us this morning. From there, let's go ahead and pass it on over to Britton. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you? Can you see everything from me okay?
Sure can. Looks like you're ready to roll.
All right. Happy to join everybody today. We are talking about all the incredible things that have happened in the world of Copilot since we last spoke in December, because yes, that's how fast it's all moving. A recent Work Trend Index report tells us that 64% of employees don't have enough time and energy to do their job. Employees lacking time and energy to do their job are 3.5 times more likely to struggle with innovation and strategic thinking. So employees and leaders are embracing the idea more and more of using AI to support their work. And in fact, 70% of employees are open to delegating some of their work to AI just to lessen their workloads. And while many are still tentative about AI-related job loss, and it remains top of mind for 49% of workers, the data also shows managers are looking to leverage AI to empower people, not to replace them. In fact, managers were 2 times as likely to say that AI is valuable for boosting the productivity of their teams, more so than cutting headcount of the people that they work with directly. SMB customers are also ready to embrace AI in the workplace. So the opportunity is growing. As we've already spoken about, ChatGPT reached an impressive amount of users early out of the gate, hitting 100 million users within 3 months of its launch. And we see now that 83% of businesses say that AI is a top priority to them. But only 23% of businesses actually say they have some kind of plan for their AI adoption. And while we assume that some of your customers may be falling in that gap, we find that even partners feel like they may fall in that gap too. And that's exactly where Pax8 wants to make sure that we're helping you with your business strategy and with your customers' transformation strategy. And this is the Pax8 and Microsoft AI Playbook. It's here to share insights and best practices, strategies that support the AI opportunity, helping you with things like common terms, demystification, readiness for your business and readiness for your customers, capabilities in consulting, and driving the AI adoption opportunity all up. AI has been with us for quite some time. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this timeline, but really reflecting on the fact that since the 50s and a little bit earlier than that, there have been big major achievements in the world that we call AI. But since the 2000s, moving into the generative AI movement, things have been full of buzz since then. This really allows for AI to be a true co-pilot alongside you while you work, providing things that are more so available to your everyday needs than just the inner parts of software that you may have been using for a number of years, or certain tools that you've become accustomed to working with AI through. And that brings us to what is new about Copilot today. and it's that Copilot for M365 is available for CSP. So we know that in November, Copilot for M365 became available for 300 users or more through EA agreements and select other agreements. But as of just last week, M365 is now available through CSP. It no longer has a minimum order size, so those SMB customers will be able to be served by you in this space. And there's quite a few prerequisite SKUs that it is available to attach to at this time. It's an add-on SKU, so you will need to make sure that you have one of these parent SKUs in order to use it. And it's also an annual agreement. So that may be a muscle that you may not have flexed yet. So just be aware that it is something that you're going to use a 360 upfront payment for and get your customers in that for the full year. This is actually a really great opportunity though, because at the end of the day, it's a very new technology. There is a learning curve, and you will want your customers to spend time with this tool while they learn what's best for them with it. We'll step back just a little bit while we catch up with the news and really talking about what a Copilot is. It's an AI orchestration tool. So it is sitting between the foundational AI model and the data that it's meant to help support you with. The capabilities of this innovation really become noticeable when we bring in the natural language processing. And what that means is that it is using the way that you speak to sort through your data in ways that are so much simpler, so much more native to you, and allow you to get so much more out of the same data that you may have had prior to Copilot. Now we'll jump in a little bit on some of what is out, the differences between the different Copilot tools that you can use, and then some next steps you can take with us at Pax8. Copilot with commercial data protection first came into the market as Bing Chat Enterprise. This is a Copilot that is accessible through your Intra ID. It's come out first for M365 users, so you'd want to be looking for your business standard, business premium, E3s, E5s, to notice that there is a Copilot within their user availability that you can activate for them, which will allow them to have this data protection right then and there. The plan is for this to span to all Intra users eventually. There's not a hard roadmap for that, but we'll stay tuned in with you as it grows. And it once was available through working with Bing exclusively. And one of the other changes is that it is now available on most web browsers through copilot.microsoft.com. This is a great first step to take with your standard premium E3 or E5 users to start practicing working with AI. And we can have a little bit of a conversation about how that's shaped so that you can discuss data protection with your users right off the bat so they can feel comfortable adopting the Copilot technology. So one of the things that's really important to note about Copilot on the web is that it actually does not have access to the graph data in Microsoft 365. So you'll see in this corner that it is completely separate. It is coming through the Microsoft Intra ID as the place to validate and is using only the chat entry points as the interface, which means that your business data is safe there. It is not being used to train the AI models, so the things that are coming through in the chat entry points are safe from that kind of risk as well. And then, of course, mentioning again that we're able to work with the most up-to-date models like GPT-4, DALL-E 3, with our own large language models there that adapt to your natural language processing. Through working in this circle, you have an incredible way to search that is unlike anything that we've really worked with before. And this is the piece that has so much news around it in this last week. Microsoft 365 Copilot is when you actually do invite the power of that AI into your Microsoft graph. So this means that not only is it able to help you search, it's able to help you analyze, it's able to help you create, and it's using the data that is the same data you have access to as a worker inside your organization. It truly becomes someone sitting right beside you to help you make business decisions and help boost your productivity. Some of the things that this AI assistant can do is allow data inside the graph to support you in creating excellent Excel spreadsheets. It really allows you to take data from, a brief that you have and work with it in PowerPoint so that you could easily update other teams with that same data. And all of these things really help to cut out this amount of time that was put on individuals to have to make these things from scratch, to have to spin up things that would have had an easy integration if they just could have had a template to start from. And I think that that's what's so strong about M365 Copilot. It makes a huge difference for me personally in my work. So understanding the options of what's available now, Copilot with data protection, which was formerly Bing Chat Enterprise, has foundational capabilities of AI. It's also web grounded, and when you're working with that Intra ID, it provides you with commercial data protection. Copilot Pro was also announced during the CSP announcement. It is available, but is a consumer-facing option. So this one would be not a CSP option, but it is worth knowing that it is available. It's going to work alongside the home opportunities where you've got users that may, have the app that they'd like to use for things within their home and they'd like to connect it there. The Pro option does show up in the home versions of Word or Outlook, the home versions of PowerPoint and OneNote, but it doesn't have any kind of relevance to Teams. That is only going to be attached to the M365 Copilot option. And you see that that one really is the Copilot for work. So it is not only providing you with those foundational capabilities that we've all come to know and love, it is also connecting directly to your graph. It is using enterprise grade security, compliance, and privacy, and it shows up in Teams, which anybody that's had access to Copilot can tell you so much about how much they love what it can do for them in Teams. It's a very, very exciting place to be with your Copilot. And if you're looking to really turbocharge your workforce, then I would recommend that you look into the Copilot movements going on in D365. So all of the pieces of Dynamics really come together to shape what's necessary for each one of your customers. But the great thing about the way that Copilot is expressing here is that it is also that customized. So when Copilot shows up in service, it's going to help with responses. It's going to help with intelligent bots to help with that. Whereas sales is going to be more around crafting email responses, recapping meetings, and all of that. So it's highly customizable here. And of course, you want to consult on all of this because that's the biggest part of this AI conversation with your customers is understanding what they're looking to expect. Because from the Microsoft level, we expect to see a Copilot for every Microsoft Cloud experience. There are a number that are already in preview or already available, such as the M365 Copilot, some of the options in Dynamics 365, Power Platform, the Security Copilot that's coming forward, and then of course there's even Copilot Studio for those that are looking to create their own Copilots. So we do look forward to seeing some growth coming forward in 2024 with that. But all of this news means that it's time to develop an AI strategy, and that is where Pax8 is here to weigh in and help you make sense of it all. We'll touch a little bit on business strategy, transformation strategy, and then leave you at how to drive adoption with us. Business strategy has so much to do with the conversations that you need to have internally in your organization before moving forward and taking AI to your customers. And it really revolves around things like adopting sound AI principles, making sure you're consulting on the outcomes versus the toolkit, and then preparing for the capabilities, which will naturally lead us into your customer's strategy. Microsoft began their responsible AI journey back in 2017. Seeing what was coming ahead made Microsoft understand that there needed to be an outlined way to interact with these advanced AI technologies in a way that was equitable, that was safe, and was responsible, because they're incredibly smart tools and they move at a rapid speed. And it's nothing to pretend is not also a risk. And we talk about that as well with things like Technically Unraveled in the game. So these types of principles help your business to lead by example in the era of AI. Thinking about privacy and security, inclusiveness, accountability, transparency, the fairness of the tool, and the reliability and the safety of working with them are all key principles that are driven through these building blocks. Deciding on the governance for your organization, setting rules around those decisions, training and implementing practices to support those decisions, and then bringing the right tools and processes in to carry out those principles. The strategy tips are to get your governance strategy on board at the business level before you take your transformation strategy out to your customer. And this is doing things like looking at the set of tools that your customers are already in. Do they need to go through an upgrade strategy to be in something like Business Premium E3 or E5 so that they have a more reliable security set underneath their AI? Or have you already matured them into a high security stack and they're ready to move a little faster with you and could adopt M365 today? These are some clear lanes that you'll want to define to make it easier for your seller teams and for your engineering teams to be able to move forward with a clear understanding of where each of the customers might fit in their AI journey. And that ties all the way back to consulting and then pairing that with capabilities. It's very easy to get really excited about everything that's coming forward and want to talk about the tool. And although we love to share those tool thoughts with you, your customers are really going to be expressing what their expectations of the outcome are. Because if 83% of businesses are interested in AI, what's important is for you as a partner to understand, what does that mean for them? When they think about working with an AI, what is the workload they're trying to lift and make easier on their teams? And this will be what helps you find the Copilot capability that fits, whether that's Microsoft 365 or something in D365, or even some things in Azure that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. This naturally evolves into your technology strategy. So as you come to a principal strategy and really create a way to go to market with it, this is where you'll really start to build the framework for what your customers will be looking forward to from you. While this is looking at infrastructure, making sure that you are in the cloud, and of course Pax8 can help with that. Looking at the top priority use cases from your customers so that you can understand exactly what type of Copilot experience they're looking for and start with the one that's going to give them the best result. And then thinking about what you host and how you host it. Those are all very, very important questions surrounding around your team. And just know that Pax8 is in your corner with all sorts of professional services, as well as really advanced sellers with great understanding of these tools. So if you have any questions, Pax8 is on your side as you're building this strategy. But we like to give 3 major pillars to think about, and this is the transformation strategy right here for your customers. So this is revolving around things like identity access, data management, and then of course, unified security. Identity access means that you're getting the right things to the right users at the right time. And when we think about a world before AI, if someone was trying to get into a file that they didn't belong in, it would normally either be a threat actor who was specifically looking for something, or a person that made a simple mistake and opened something that they shouldn't have had access to, and it opened for them. However, with a tool that can search and analyze as quick as a Copilot can, you could very easily have those things delivered right to your doorstep if you have access to them, whether or not you should. And so these are things where identity access and data management are so prevalent in the AI preparedness journey, because we want for your customers to have their best experience, and it starts with being prepared to let the AI do its work. Data management is also a huge part of that, just like we said. So this is understanding, classifying, and governing the data. And this is across the whole data estate. As we look through the reporting coming down about this, there's actually only 4% of users that have enough security on their tools to protect all of their cloud data. So that is the type of thing that is what we at Pax8 would like to help you resolve before you're moving forward into adopting an advanced solution, so that those risks don't become palpable problems for you later. And last but not least on the pillars is unified security. And this is all about working with the Microsoft tools that help make it easy for you. So this is M365 Business Premium, M365 E3, and M365 E5, which all have a unified security backbone, allowing you to work with things like identity management and data management from within the tool. And with that, I know I promised some Copilot for Azure. So Elliot, are you available to hop in and share some of the news on your side?
I sure am. Thanks for that. You covered so much. I always learn a ton when I listen to you talk about Copilot, so I love it. Yes, Azure. I definitely perked up when I heard you say the word Azure for Copilot, so I'm here to kind of give you a bit of information around that. So as Britton said, I'm Elliot Chandler. I'm the Global Director for our Azure go-to-market business. So I've got a little bit of an update around Copilot for Microsoft Azure, what's happening, all of that good stuff. So first and foremost, I want to just mention that right now it's not available for CSP like M365 Copilot. I'm sorry, it's coming. We just don't know when yet. So as of right now, it is in private preview. So you need to register for access to it, and then you will be granted access through the waitlist that they have. So as of right now, private preview. But we still know roughly what the tool is going to do, how it's going to function, and how we can adopt that within our own customer organizations. So what can Azure Copilot do? So I've kind of broken it down into 5 key areas here that people have been asking Microsoft for help on, and that's pretty much exactly how they've built the tool. So first and foremost, it can help you learn more about Azure. So natural language questions can be asked to Azure Copilot, and it will give you answers to that all around the Azure technology. So if there's something you want to dig a little deeper on, understand how it's working within your customer environment, you can just ask Copilot within Azure. So it helps a lot. It can stop you searching for hours and hours on end through documentation, because that is half my life when it comes to Azure. So I'm hoping that this one saves me a lot of time. It can also accelerate workload deployment. So this is all around kind of automating tasks. So we have that as step 3 as well. So how can we accelerate deployment, understand what right sizing, efficiencies, and reliability looks like, and then how can we automate those low risk tasks? How can we get Copilot to go and do the thing on my behalf? So where you have asked to increase and scale up from customer, that's something very, very easy for Copilot to go and do. It helps sit within there. But one thing that's really important around the workload deployment is you can ask in natural language prompts what it means to be kind of compliant and efficient. So making sure that you have environments that are secure for your customer, that meet organizational policies that you have in place, and all of that good stuff too. The fourth one is one that I am super interested in, and this is going to be monitoring event insights. So this is going to be when you have like a security alert come up, you can ask in natural language prompts, hey, what happened here? What was the root cause? And kind of crucially, what steps can I take to remediate this alert? So it's going to help you kind of investigate and remediate alerts that come up in your environment. Also, if you have any downtime, any outages, it can help you identify kind of that root cause. And that leads us really nicely into troubleshooting, help, and support. So when you have an issue, when you have something that's not quite working right, even in deployment, you can kind of ask Azure Copilot, what's going wrong here? What should I be changing? What should be different? And you're going to get that response very, very quickly, because you're going to know very deep insights about the rest of the environment. One thing that's always a little bit of a trouble when you're seeking help from another human about this kind of stuff is they don't know all the ins and outs of this environment. So they're going to give you the answers that they think are right, but there's always that one thing somewhere in the environment that would change that answer entirely. And Copilot's going to come to the conversation armed with all that information. So it's going to be something that's going to be huge from that side of things. So if I was an MSP today and I was thinking about what Azure Copilot's going to do for me, I would think it's going to be helping me kind of automate those low-hanging fruit tasks that we can kind of get through very, very quickly. It's going to help free up some of my higher-end architect level resource, because we can offload some of those tasks to more junior support staff because they've got Copilot on their team helping them out. And then also it might help me optimize and reduce the cost of those environments. So what that really means for MSPs who are packaging their environments and giving their customers fixed pricing for their environment, that's going to increase your margin, because we're able to reduce the cost of that environment. You can still charge the exact same to customer through managed services and the packages you're providing. So if you're going to market solving problems for customers, this is going to help you do that in a much more profitable manner. So exciting stuff. We will keep you up to date as we hear more. Right now it's private preview. As it goes into public and available for CSP and SMB, we will be letting you know. This format's the best place for that. We also have our newsletter, tons of different places. We've got all the resources coming up as well. So that's what's coming up. The other thing I want to touch on is, how do you get started? What should you do now coming off the back of this? So we've broken this down into 6 key areas for how to get started. First and foremost, get your organization and your team AI ready. So Pax8 Academy, you can see the link on screen. We'll get someone to throw that in the chat for you as well. We have tons of resources in the Microsoft Hub. This will guide you through kind of what Copilot is, all of the different facets of the solution, what you should be doing to kind of get yourself ready, all of that good stuff. The kind of second one I want to touch on, there's a few I want to grab now, but this is kind of around buy Copilot for M365, utilize Copilot on the web, and then get familiar with Microsoft Security Copilot. These 3 are essentially go and use the thing, get used to it, right? If you were going to have customers asking you questions, the best thing you can do to arm yourself for those conversations, be familiar with the tool. We have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of partners picking up 1 or 2 licenses for their own organization to get used to the tool, play around with it, building presentation decks, responding to customer emails, summarizing a meeting, all of these things. If you're using the tool day in, day out, you're going to be best placed to answer those questions for your customer. The next one I want to touch on, that one at the top right, is very near and dear to me because I'm the Azure guy. We've had lots of conversations with MSPs and their SME customers, and some of them are quite resistant to moving to cloud sometimes. They've got their old faithful server in the corner that they can put their hand on. Copilot is a great opportunity for you to revisit that conversation. If their data is on-premise in a legacy solution on another cloud provider somewhere siloed away, Copilot cannot access that data and give them an answer based off of it. So Copilot is not as valuable as it could be if we were to migrate, modernize onto Azure, get everything in the cloud, connected through their Entra ID, so that Copilot can reference all of these things. So if you have a customer who is resistant to move, or there's some legacy workloads they've really just not taken the time to go and do, but they're interested in Copilot, this is a great time to revisit that conversation. Migrate, modernize, help your customers be ready for AI, so that when they start utilizing it, it gives them the most value possible. So that's my number 1 tip. And then finally, bottom left there, stay connected with Pax8. We're going to put a lot of content together for you guys on Copilot. If you are not so deep in Copilot information, I will be blown away, because we are going to be covering everything. So stay connected with us, the monthly updates, Technically Unraveled, newsletters, everything. Stay close to us, work closely with your account manager. We will keep you up to date. I can see Kristen's popped on the screen, so I'll hand back over or answer questions depending on what we've got going on.
Yeah, we'll start answering questions now.
Awesome. Elliot, while I got you, let's start with the Azure question. So Perry's asking if Copilot for Azure is likely going to be able to have a template and deploy a design, kind of like an intelligent blueprint. Is that the intention for this?
So the intention is to kind of take and automate tasks that you put in place. So first of all, the very honest answer is we don't know until we get our hands on it. But based on the conversations I'm having with Microsoft, you have a lot of control over what Copilot does and doesn't do. So where you have your automated playbooks and your blueprints in your tenant, you could automate the task of Copilot, go and grab this and deploy this when I ask you X, or when this event occurs. So it's going to be around event-driven instances and then templates that you have created. But if you're not comfortable doing that, you don't have to utilize it. So we will know much, much more once we get access to the tool and once it's SMB ready. So look out for that. If it's not on an Azure bootcamp or we deep dive and use it, I will be shocked. We have a few coming up this year. So once we get access to the tool, our intention is to showcase that. We're going to use it. We're going to get hands-on. We'll bring some of the Microsoft team in as well. But as of right now, yes, the intent is template, automate, but do that securely and within the kind of remit that you give Copilot. It's not going to just run off and start doing things without your say-so.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Elliot. So, Britton, I want to bring you back on because we've got a couple of questions. I mean, they're kind of regarding this whole annual. So, Microsoft was saying it was $30 per month per user, but can you just explain, like, is that 360? Is that one person? Is that the organization? Explain that cost to me.
Yes, so happy to hear the question. It's a good one. So you have seen a lot of material saying $30 a month. That is if you were to break out the cost into a monthly option. It is not available to be paid for as annual monthly. So you won't be able to have those $30 a month payments. It is an annual upfront. So the 360 would be for one user to add that on. And that would be for the entire month of their contract. So yeah, that's definitely a good question. It's a new muscle here. I know that, within CE, we have all started to have new muscle conversations. And for a lot of us, these renewals coming around is, our next time of operating that renewal muscle. But yeah, annual will be a new muscle to flex. We are here exactly for that. So that's where all this guidance around consulting and how it would work for your customer is so important. So we're really happy to help out there.
Thanks, Britton. I'm going to keep you here because we got a question from Don. He's asking, how will clients who have Microsoft 365 Business Standard play in this world?
Yes, that's another. You guys are coming up with wonderful questions. So you saw that there's a lot of SKUs that it's available for. So it is available for, OE3, OE5, Business Standard. At Pax8, you're hearing us say a lot about M365 Business Premium, M365 E3 and E5. And that is because we too really want to encourage you to be using secure tools before you're moving forward. So again, if you have standard and you're not going to have the upgrade conversation first to get them into something that has unified security in it, then I would say work with our teams to talk about some of the other vendors that could help support you within that. But again, when it comes to how we would recommend to move forward, we would say that if you're in some of those, more insecure, the ones that don't have quite as much of the enterprise grade security options in them, that your first conversation would be moving into those SKUs and then adopting AI.
Excellent. So can you just talk me through, we've had Copilot in our environment for a little while, and, as it slowly kind of comes out, I think it's working a little bit better on the web. So I think this question is really just kind of focused around that. And I don't know the exact date of it, but Britton might. It seems that Copilot add-in for Outlook is only available on the new Outlook, which does not yet support shared mailboxes. Do we know when that support might be coming? And can you just kind of talk about how it's rolling out? It's not quite on the desktop, all that good stuff.
Yes. So, the tools are new all the way across the board. And even though M365 is Copilot for M365 is available, the tools are still being fleshed out and rolled out, just like Kristen is saying. So if you have M365 Copilot and you are not seeing it express in, all of the apps in the way that you may have, expected them to, you're going to want to watch the roadmaps that are coming forward from Microsoft. It is something that they have told us is just going to be a part of the process at this time, as that you will see the actual benefits and features rolling out into the tools throughout its maturity. So the the ones that are on the cloud-based products are going to be the first places that we see them for sure. And then as you bring more of it into your environment and as the tool matures, you'll start to see a lot more of the capabilities showing up across all of your tool sets. So yeah, early adopters have noticed that certain tools are rolling out at certain different times, and that is to be expected.
Excellent. There are a lot of questions in this chat. We will continue to get to them on the back end, but I want to be conscious of time. And
Yeah,
I think we are going to shift on over to business applications. Britton, Elliot,
good.
Thank you
you
both.
so much. If you take anything away, check out the landing page, download the playbook, and M365 Copilot is available now. We'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Britton. All right, Matt. Welcome on. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to
Let's
see you.
go into business applications 2024, kicking off a new year.
Let's do it. What a tough act to follow, though. I just want to say I share Elliot's views there. I always learn something whenever I hear Britton talk about Copilot. So I really want to follow on. When I saw the content that Britton was going to present, I really wanted the Biz Apps side of things to be a nice follow-on to, well, yes, there's some amazing things coming in Microsoft 365 Copilot. Britton did a brilliant job as well, highlighting some of those great built-in Copilots to Dynamics 365. And there is just such a huge opportunity when it comes to Dynamics, when it comes to the Power Platform. And a lot of that is because of Copilot and what is happening with Microsoft 365 Copilot and being AI ready. I've seen a lot of estimations and predictions around the demand for Dynamics 365 set to triple. I would argue it's even more than that. And I think Microsoft 365 Copilot is a huge reason for that when even us using Copilot and all the great functionality in Teams and Outlook and Word. And if I was using a very poor CRM or ERP system, I would start to question, well, why do I have all this cool AI capabilities? Why can't I ask Copilot to basically build a presentation for me? But then I'm stuck in the Stone Ages when it comes to my CRM or ERP solution. So I do believe it's going to be a huge opportunity. So that's what we're going to touch on in this session. And, again, I'm just going to reiterate some of the points that Britton made earlier around, AI, huge opportunity there. 83% of companies claim it's to be a top priority. Global market by 2027, 407 billion, set to grow 40% year over year. So it's very attractive. There is a huge opportunity when it comes to AI, but it's also great to understand those blockers. And again, some of these we've seen today. And I'm really going to focus in on that first one. With the data challenges, I feel like that's where Dynamics 365 is going to be a great capability, a great a way to overcome that hurdle, that blocker when it comes to AI. But you saw there was a statistic, and I think I'm probably spoiling my next slide actually. So let's go into that one. 4% of companies do not have. 4% of companies have sufficient security for all their data in the cloud. So it really highlights that data, the way that companies are collecting data, using that data, storing that data, there really is a lot of work to be done there. And again, I feel like, Microsoft has the tools to enable, whether it's, Copilot security, Britt mentioned upgrading into Business Premium and making sure that that data is safe and secure, but then also how are you collecting that data? And also, when you think about Copilot and some of the advantages, I absolutely love being able to just take notes on Teams. I can focus on a call. I can take those notes on Teams. And, I can send a follow-up email. I can get that email drafted up. But again, think about using Dynamics 365 tools, being able to take those notes that you didn't even have to type up, store them in a CRM system nice and easily, all automated, and then be able to send that follow-up email right from Dynamics. It really does help overcome a ton of challenges and make sure everything is safe and secure. So just going to highlight some of those, and don't worry, I am not going to run through every single one of these bullet points. But again, thinking about those data challenges, when you think about 75% of companies not trusting their own data, 65% of companies using Excel as their data and analytics tool. And again, Excel is great. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a big Excel nerd, but it's not there's so much more that you can do with data and analytics and other tools that you can use, and better ways to store that data, share that data, collaborate with people in organizations safely and securely. And then, 40% of companies not even using a CRM system. That again, if you want to use AI to better communicate and build relationships with customers and you're not using a CRM system, you're already starting from a big blocker there that you're not using a CRM tool. So again, how do we help overcome that? Using Dynamics 365, using the Power Platform. There's great tools there to enable businesses to have better ways to collect data and build relationships and maximize what they can do with AI. 53% of companies not using a cloud-based ERP solution as well. So a bit later on in my section here, you're going to see what issues that can cause as well in business processes and put blockers into a business and prevent growth and things. There's huge issues there. And again, really being able to maximize that opportunity is key. And then reversing it just to make it real hit home, 96% of companies not having sufficient cloud security for all of their data in the cloud. So, again, it really highlights that data is the biggest kind of blocker that we need to overcome when it comes to being AI ready, data and security. So there's a huge thing there, huge opportunity there for Dynamics 365 for sure. Now, again, I'm really going to, I feel like Britton has done an amazing job in already kind of talking around some of the blockers there with AI readiness. And I'm really going to focus in on the next slide here. But you can see here some of those risks of kind of adopting too early. Take one of those examples of one of those 40% of businesses not currently using a CRM system, don't have a cloud-based ERP solution. It could be, the data isn't safe and secure. They're not even able to collect data effectively. Again, like those kind of businesses that we see time and time again, those kind of having those unrealistic expectations and that risk of, adopting AI too early in their journey. There's a whole conversation to happen beforehand in terms of AI readiness and data and security, and just really modernizing, migrate and modernize, as I think Elliot would say. There's a huge opportunity ahead of the Microsoft Copilot or AI conversation. So just in terms of AI readiness, and again, I feel like Elliot did a great job earlier of saying, hey, we've got all this great content in the Microsoft Hub within Pax8 Academy. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here on AI readiness, but you can see there that point number one, tidying up the data. I have got a jokey slide where I ask AI bots, who is Matt Batterby? And it gets a lot of it right, but then somehow comes out that I have 20 years IT industry experience. And I always joke that if using MSN Messenger as a 12, 13-year-old counts, then yeah, but it doesn't. So, the AI is only as good as the data going into it. So tidying up that data and ensuring that companies have a great way, a safe and secure way to actually start to collect more data, have a 360-degree view of their business, of their customers, of their teams, really understand what's happening, and actually enable Copilot to better support the users and also the customers of that business as well. So I'm really going to focus in on that tidy up of the data on this slide. But as I say, I'm going to reiterate what Elliot and Britton said earlier. Go check out Pax8 Academy Microsoft Hub. There is a ton of great content in there around AI readiness and tips that you should follow. So definitely go and check that out as well. When it comes to Dynamics 365, and I always joke, and I'm going to very quickly say it's a joke. I know there's people from Microsoft on here, and you can just see the wheel of doom and then Dynamics solutions on a slide. But this is always the thing that can kind of put people off, put partners off, even sometimes put customers off in terms of adopting Dynamics 365, looking to start selling Dynamics 365. There's a lot of solutions and they're all fantastic. So I want to make that clear. The wheel of doom is not the wheel of doom because any of the solutions aren't good. They're all absolutely fantastic. But there's so many of them. When you actually look into the data, especially in the SMB region that we play in, 85% of sales are either Dynamics 365 Sales, Business Central, or Dynamics 365 Customer Service. So straight away, we can start to streamline a focus area, if you like, and how we can really help you go to market effectively, still capitalize on a ton of opportunity, enable your customers to use cloud-based, safe and secure CRM and ERP solutions fit for SMB as well. You're not missing out on, now you're not missing out on any of the opportunity because you can really drive these solutions into your customer base. And we make that very easy through the programs that we have, the partners that we work with, the professional services that we have in-house, and the teams that we have. And actually, I have a great story, or rather, Tanya has a great story that she's going to share at the end of this section around how we're already enabling so many partners to go to market with Dynamics 365 and some success stories that we have there. And in terms of benefits to partners that we have seen, it's great. We've been running this program now. I mean, I joined Pax8 October 2022, so we've got a lot of data now to look at. Well, what impact have we seen from partners that have started to transact Dynamics 365 through our program? Not asking them to go and build a practice, but simply sell and use our services to do the deployment and ongoing support. And we've seen great increases in terms of Azure. In fact, when you look at last year, even just the second half of last year, when I was looking at Microsoft H1 fiscal, we saw partners that are transacting Dynamics 365, their Azure practice growing 20% faster within that 6-month period. So it's having that huge impact on an Azure practice, which I'm really excited about. It's something I've been talking about for years, and we're seeing that at Pax8. We're seeing our partners see the benefits of transacting Dynamics 365, not just because of Dynamics licensing, but because of the impact it's having on other workloads. Azure, an example, Power Platform, 42% of deals, including the Power Platform, and actually seeing that you're 4 times more likely to transact a premium SKU of Microsoft 365 with Dynamics 365. So it's really driving those upgrades as well. It's a great add-in to that conversation and reason why to upgrade. We've also seen a decrease in churn. So on average, a Microsoft 365 partner churn rate in and around 25%, dropping down to less than 1% when partners are transacting across the Microsoft suite. It makes you incredibly sticky to your customers. So definitely a huge advantage there. And it shows why there's this huge increase in growth, not just in Azure but across the board. We're seeing partners growing around 30% faster when they're transacting Dynamics 365 across their entire Microsoft suite. So that when you see that it's dropping churn rate, you're driving an increase of cross-sell and upsell. It really, all those things combined, well, no wonder why those partners are growing much faster. They're stickier to their customers, and they're capitalizing as much as possible on every single customer ad and their existing customers as well. And when you see that the increase of the average deal size on a typical Microsoft 365 deal, add in Dynamics 365 an increase of 600%, that might be a little bit intimidating when I first read that statistic. But when I read the second one just below that on average SMB customers are using between 7 and 10 different technology vendors, you're essentially shifting that cost from these different vendors that they're using, these data silos that they have today, scattered data in different solutions. Again, AI blockers, think about those. And we're shifting that cost into you as their trusted advisor, their reseller, and getting them using solutions that are safe, secure, and going to better enable AI readiness as well. So huge advantages there. And these are statistics that we are seeing. And there's some other great benefits as well. Things like, when you look at your solutions partner designations, and you might, as soon as I say that, you might think, well, you don't want to attain a Dynamics one just yet. Well, think about the things that you need to do to attain your Azure, your Microsoft 365 designations, increase customer ads, increase growth of customer. Dynamics 365 is enabling that. So it's really going to help you in terms of attaining those designations that you do want to attain, modern work and Azure. So I just wanted to call that out as well as another advantage that we're seeing based on the results that we're seeing. And then just to call out some benefits to your customers as well. I think that's important to call out some of the ROI that we're seeing there. According to Gartner, for every $1 spent on Dynamics 365, up to $20 return on investment. So huge value add. And again, if you're adding that much value to your customers, well, no wonder why these partners have the lowest churn. They're adding incredible value, unmatched value than they're getting today. Kristen's just come on the screen, which makes me nervous, but go.
No, I think we've got a good question over here from Don, and he's saying that our clients are small businesses ranging from 1 to 40 employees, and Dynamics appears to be targeted at much larger businesses. Do you have any perspective on that?
I do, and I think, for years, I have been poking the bear, so to speak, with Microsoft, that a lot of their content has been very enterprise driven. I absolutely love the content in the Dynamics Partner Portal, but it's always been very enterprise driven. For example, the email marketing campaigns were very complicated to follow, even for me. So for an SMB, it would have been very hard to follow. But now Microsoft has some incredible SMB specific content. In that Dynamics Partner Portal, there is an SMB section. If you look at, say, Dynamics 365 sales, you can get two different go-to-market kind of strategies, if you like, SMB and enterprise. So yeah, we are seeing more and more sales coming through now that are SMB, but actually I feel like Microsoft's done a big job in helping that because of all the SMB content that they're putting out. So yeah, it fits the bill in terms of SMB for sure.
Excellent. And I know we have a direct seller on as well. So Tanya, can I call on you for just a moment and maybe get your perspective as well?
Yeah, I actually love that question, because when I hear Matthew talk about the circle of doom, there's a lot of people that when they think Dynamics 365, this is way too big for my customers, but I'm a former business owner. Before I got into the Microsoft world, I had my business, 2 employees only. And when I saw Business Central, oh my God, should I have had that for my accounting system, for my inventory? It's crazy how it fits very small organizations, but can scale so much. So don't be afraid to look at that, even if your customers are so small. 1, 2 employees, it would have been a great fit for me.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. All right, Matt, I'm going to let you keep on rolling.
Perfect, thank you. So yeah, I mean, this slide's been up for quite a while now, so you can kind of see some of the advantages here of Dynamics. We also have training in the Academy and the Microsoft Hub, so we hit on this quite a lot. So go and check that out. But it does create incredible ROI to your customers. Similar to Tanya, my background managing and building call centers before I got into this whole Microsoft ecosystem. And yeah, I wish I knew about Dynamics when I was doing that, believe me. So we'll keep it rolling. Again, I just, come back around to these statistics. Copilot is a phenomenal opportunity in terms of, when I say that, I mean Microsoft 365 Copilot. Phenomenal opportunity, but I just want to highlight that, Dynamics 365 is really a great opportunity in terms of AI readiness and driving those conversations for sure. And then just want to call out as well, in terms of next steps, definitely I want to reiterate what Britton and Elliot were talking about earlier in, going and checking out the Microsoft Hub and checking out that content there in terms of AI readiness. But, working with Pax8, building that plan, talking to customers, using Cloud Ascent. If you're not familiar with the Cloud Ascent data set, definitely get familiar with that. And speak to your account management team to talk about Cloud Ascent. It's going to really highlight some great opportunity in your existing customer base for cross-sell and upsell. So working with us, and again, what Elliot and Britton said earlier around playing with AI and Copilot yourselves and monitoring that impact. Now, in terms of just really want to hit on how you can start to spot those opportunities when it comes to Dynamics 365. Again, we have this content in Academy. But there's 5 kind of areas. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. But these are some of the things to look out for to uncover those CRM and ERP opportunities in your customer base. If you're hearing them talk about these kind of complaints or pain points, inefficient processes, then they are ready for updated CRM and ERP solutions. So keep an eye out for these, and then bring those opportunities to us, and we can support all the way. And you can even ask some open questions. It's not about asking them specifically about Dynamics 365. It's about asking them about their business and uncovering those pain points, gauging their current limitations, even understanding their growth aspirations. And these things will really help you in terms of unlocking not just Dynamics, but other opportunities as well, be it Azure services, modern work upgrades, Power Platform. So it really is going to help you in terms of uncovering a lot of opportunities by speaking to different personas, asking the right questions. And like I say, you can bring those opportunities to us. And with our partner to partner program, our matchmaker program, we can support you, helping you retain your customers. You do the transaction, we support you, and we provide those pre-sales and implementation and post-sales support services as well. So it really is a no cost profit opportunity for you as partners to start transacting Dynamics 365 without the need to go and build a practice. And I just want to hand over to Tanya really quickly to talk a little bit about some of the success that we've seen already.
Thank you, Matt. So like Matt said, we have our amazing partner to partner program, but we also have our ProServe team. Most projects for Business Central will be handled by Pax8, and we are there every step of the way to guide you. So might sound scary because most MSPs I speak to on day in, day out do tell me that they don't have the time to look into this. They don't have the expertise. They don't want to. But some MSPs have actually come to us and relied on Pax8 for that. If your customer comes to you asking questions about what is the next step for their ERP or accounting software, how can they better manage their customer relationships? Instead of shying away from this, write down their questions, come to us. In 80% of the cases, we'll be able to help you on that project implementation, and you actually become that single point of contact, trusted person for all of your customers. We have great stories, and I wanted to tell you about one, NSP Strategy out of Toronto. Small MSP, very professional, very oriented on cybersecurity and productivity. One of his customers came to him last April, if I'm not mistaken, asking about, what am I doing with my current on-prem legacy ERP? I need to modernize this. And just think about it. Last April, Copilot was not as crazy as it is today. But moving everything to a Microsoft solution, if they were already on Microsoft 365, was making so much sense because you don't need to work on connecting stuff. It's already made to work together. So this would have given so much power to that customer. So when Andy came to me saying, hey, my customer's asking for Dynamics 365, I said, you know what? Let's hop on a call with your customer. We did a little discovery. We went on and presented Business Central, and guess what? It wasn't enough. They needed the full enterprise version. So Andy was a little bit surprised by that. We were as well. It wasn't an SMB solution that they were looking into, and Andy actually stuck in there. We worked with him. We did a demo of Business Central. We tried to see what their needs were to finally say, hey, we need finance, Dynamics 365 finance. So we leveraged another partner because our professional services team cannot do finance. We only do Business Central because the majority of our customers, of your customers, basically, are SMBs. So we called upon Q Associates. That customer was in Toronto. Andy from NSP Strategy is in Toronto. So we booked a meeting room in the Microsoft headquarters. We invited the customer, the MSP, and Q Associates. So we were all together working as a team, understanding that customer's needs, understanding where they needed to be. And then we actually Q Associates build a demo to show them what finance can do. And we won against another very big ERP system on the market. Right now, this is currently going through signing of the contracts. Legal teams are talking to each other, and the project is starting in February. So this is a big win for Andy, who never thought he would be working on Dynamics 365. This is a great partnership that was created between MSP Strategy and Q Associates. So basically, what I'm saying is, why not stay open when you hear questions like, how do I connect all of my contacts? How do I keep track of those conversations with my customers and multiple of my team in here? How do I improve my inventory, my billing? So all of those questions are bringing you to Dynamics 365. And if I'm looping in Copilot, your Copilot outcome is as powerful as the data you have access to, or it has access to. So if everything is on Microsoft, like I was saying before, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365 makes a whole lot of sense. It's made to work together. Bring in Copilot. Oh my goodness, the outcome that the users will get, asking or prompting Copilot for results that is all in the same environment. So yes, you can move a legacy on-prem to Azure. I want to make Elliot happy about this, but you can also move this to Dynamics 365 and leverage Dynamics 365 Copilot as well as Microsoft 365 Copilot. So the power of Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365 is unparalleled. And as an MSP, you don't have to be scared to engage in these conversations because we are right there with you. We can join you on a call with customer to do a first discovery and see if it's a fit. If it is, let's see if Pax8 ProServe can help. If not, just like in that example, we have excellent partners in our P2P program that you can partner with for a successful implementation and actually allow your customers that power behind Microsoft tools.
Oh my goodness, great stuff. Thank you so much for joining, both of you. A lot of really good stuff today. We've gone through all things AI. I know that you all have questions, so please continue to put those in the chat. We are still on the back end here, but I am excited to introduce Solgari. So Joe, how are you doing today?
Great, I'm doing well. Let's see here. Let's make sure you guys can see me.
Yes, we sure can. If you want to go
Great.
ahead and share out your document, we will get you up and rolling on our side.
Yeah, perfect. Just confirm when you can see everything and I'll kick off.
Looks good to me.
Fabulous. Great. Well, firstly, thanks Pax8 for having Solgari on the call today. For those who don't know what Solgari is, we're an ISV with Microsoft. And so how we'll go through today's presentation is we'll spend some time just having a quick overview and introduction of what Solgari is and how we work with Microsoft partners. And then we'll start getting into the common theme of what today's session's been about, which is AI deliverables and the roadmap and how we can get you and your customers started with AI immediately without some of these data silos and blockers that you might have day to day. And then lastly, we'll be showing what the ideal customer profile looks like and some of the commercials of what you can do with Solgari for Teams, Dynamics, or both. So firstly, let's just give a quick introduction to what Solgari is and some of the problems we solve. There we go. So there's a lot on this screen, but I'll focus on just a few items. So firstly, Solgari is an all-channel communication solution. And so that means that we bring communication channels like voice, SMS, WhatsApp, digital channels, and social channels like Facebook and Instagram. We take any communication channel and we allow that channel to be available in the Dynamics application or Teams app that you choose. So this has led Solgari to be a leader and an enabler of Microsoft's digital contact center platform. So When you think about the Microsoft DCCP, you should really think about how a customer interacts with your organization and being able to provide things like a customer profile to an employee at your organization, and enabling an employee to answer a phone call and be provided things like knowledge-based articles and scripts and key customer information and data to help support that conversation. And so Solgari is the app that allows some of those processes to kick off within a customer's Microsoft real estate. Everything we do is really revolved around the Microsoft ecosystem. So we're a true 3-cloud platform, meaning our app stands up within any business application. So Dynamics, sales, customer service, marketing, field service, etc. The Teams application. So if you're not using Dynamics, or if you want to extend this to back office users within Teams, for example, we integrate with Teams, and everything is delivered from Azure. So it's a 3-cloud solution, and that allows all of your communication data to be shared seamlessly across your Microsoft applications. And you'll see that in a video that I show here in a bit. That setup has allowed us to deliver contact center and communication solutions very, very quickly to our customers. So you can see some of our clients here on the screen, all of which have a common theme. They either use Dynamics, Teams, or both, as well as our partners are all Microsoft focused. So they could be SIs, fellow ISVs, MSPs, CSPs, distribution partners. Really, we have a wide network of resellers and partners globally as well. So that being said, we'll get into some of the customer personas and problems that we solve. We're really solving for 2 priorities, which are top of mind for most executive and teams of all organizations. The first one is that customers expect personalized customer service and experience, meaning when they interact with your organization, they want their interaction to be personalized, and they want to be able to communicate with you the way that they want to communicate, meaning if they want to use voice and give you a phone call, they can, or if they want to keep things digital, that they can. And the whole idea of where AI is going to be supporting these customers is that more and more inquiries for organizations can be solved by self-service. And there's obviously a layer of AI that we can enable, chatbots and more, to help customers self-serve whenever they interact with your organization. However, when they require an escalation from self-service into the contact center or sales team or marketing team, whoever you are routing that conversation to, you need to empower that employee with the data and the information to resolve that inquiry in the first time and in a very efficient manner. And that's what Solgari does, is we do the intelligent routing to get the right conversation to the right employee with your organization and empower that employee with the data and knowledge that they need behind that customer to resolve the inquiry and have a successful interaction. So that's just a bit of the pains that we're solving. And moving forward, something that helps describe this is a quick video that actually Microsoft used at their recent FSI conference. But what this does is it shows the contact center across Teams and Dynamics and some of the day-to-day use cases to help you get your brain kind of churning on how this can be used, whether you've got a customer that has 10 Teams licenses or an enterprise implementation across thousands of agents. This solution can work from SMBs to enterprise. So I'm going to play this video, but if someone can just confirm that they can hear the audio, that would be great. So I'll kick it off now.
Exceptional customer service is everyone's responsibility. Organizations that enable every employee to deliver it unlock a competitive advantage. Solgari intelligently connects people to the help they need fast. Powered by Microsoft Azure OpenAI services, Solgari enables every employee to be a customer service champion. Lydia has an open claim with her insurance company. Her insurer uses Solgari for Microsoft Teams and Dynamics 365, so Lydia can connect with them however she prefers, whether that's chat, voice, SMS, or social. Solgari's modern skills-based routing connects Lydia with Marco, an agent whose skill set matches her inquiry. Solgari and Dynamics 365 equips Marco with the details and assistance he needs to manage her inquiry. Marco can see all of Lydia's previous conversations, open case details, and current sentiment, all within a single application. Marco can quickly find an available specialist to help resolve Lydia's query. Solgari from Microsoft Teams enables every colleague, including outside the contact center, to contribute to a great customer experience. Solgari's Copilot provides Peter, the specialist, with a clear and concise summary of the conversation so far and Lydia's customer history. Peter has the detail and authority to give Lydia the clarity she wants. Solgari logs and records the conversation in Dynamics 365. Peter follows up on Lydia's preferred channel with a text recap of their conversation. The positive sentiment in her response is shown in real time. The impact that Solgari has on customer satisfaction. Solgari enables organizations to deliver exceptional customer experiences with unrivaled speed to value. And Solgari accelerates customers toward the outcomes they want, knowing that their concerns will be taken care of by a company who understands them. Learn more at aka.ms/cloud for financial services.
Perfect. So that just set the stage as to what Solgari can do within the Microsoft applications that your customers might be using day to day. So this kind of gives the highlight of the channels and some of the interactions that we're helping resolve. So to the left are the different channels that you would expect your customers to interact with you. And what Solgari is doing is we're essentially consolidating the day-to-day solutions that your customers use today. So if you look on the left, voice, SMS, chat solutions, Teams, email, customers can be using a variety of products and solutions to accomplish the omni-channel approach. But what they're not doing, or what they likely are doing, is they take all of this data and it's siloed, right? So your customer service organization might be using bespoke solutions to manage that omni-channel engagement, where the rest of your organization is using Dynamics or Teams or standard Microsoft applications. And so what Solgari is doing is it's allowing the interactions that you have with customers to be stored and archived and have that customer data available across all of your Microsoft apps. So it gives a single pane of glass. So all of the interaction history that you've had with a customer, it allows anyone in the organization to see that previous interaction history, no matter the application that they're using. So whether it's Teams, Dynamics, or both, the organization is going to have clear visibility into all of your customer interactions, because Solgari is managing each one through Azure and making that data available across the Microsoft stack. That leads me into where we're going with AI. So I'll quickly show you what we're doing with AI today, and then where we're going with this, so it paints a clear picture on where your customers might be able to fit depending on their journey so far with AI. So as Matt and team elaborated earlier, so Britton, Elliot, Matt, all went across the availability of what Microsoft Copilot can do today. And just like Microsoft has their own copilots across business applications and modern workplace, Microsoft has also enabled ISVs like Solgari to build and create our own copilots for customer industry specific type use cases. And so that's exactly what we've done, is we've used the framework of what Microsoft offers to build our own Solgari copilots. And so as a common thing that's been mentioned is that AI is only as good as the data that you provide it. And so Solgari Copilot is structured to provide the AI capabilities with real-time data from conversational history. So it doesn't matter about the quality of data that you have in your CRM, for example, because everything that we're doing is meant for live agent assist capabilities with Solgari's Copilot. So that's things like real-time sentiment analysis. It's developing call summary and analytics, as well as real-time transcription of conversations, so that the agent has the conversational data to empower them with agent assist for real-time engagements with customers. And so that's really the main point that we're trying to focus, is that we're the bridge to AI, because while your customer is getting all of their data in place, they can use Solgari Copilot, which just comes with the product. It's not some additional SKU. It's available for all Solgari users, and it gets their foot in the door into what AI and Copilot can actually do for them. Now, that being said, we're not stopping with just agent assist. There's a wide variety of topics and use cases that we're going to be delivering here in the short-term roadmap. So the idea of customer self-service and using AI to support knowledge-based dips and being able to have self-service when the customer needs it is exactly where we're going. So intelligent IVRs and routing, and having AI kind of be the engine to make sure that when your customer needs information and they don't want to speak to an agent, they can do that with self-service availability. And from there, it's about empowering the contact center and the customer service organization to have agent assist and supervisor support layered with AI. So when we think about agent assist, that's, you know, presenting a knowledge-based article to an agent based off of a keyword that's been said during a conversation, or being able to alert a supervisor in real time when sentiment of a conversation is going bad and that they might need to escalate or engage with that customer to support an agent on a live interaction. So these are all things that are going to be occurring within a standard call center, but this can also be used for other use cases. So this isn't just customer service. This is just as much sales and telemarketing and field service engagement as well. So this communications platform extends far past the customer service. And all we're doing is layering these engagements with AI to help support the call center and the department that's using the Solgari app to the fullest. Now, that being said, what's our strategy and why are we in the room today with Pax8 and where do we see this fitting across the Microsoft ecosystem? Well, ideally, Solgari aims our product at SMB to SME, so companies between 10 users all the way to 1,000 plus. We have customers of different shapes and sizes that utilize our solution. And you'll see in our commercial model, the idea here is to be transactable and allow our customers to use this type solution in a matter of days. So it's not some heavy implementation that you have to stand up. It's a transactable app that can be purchased right through Pax8 and implemented in your Teams or Dynamics real estate very, very quickly. So I'm not going to go through all of the right-hand side on the technical profile of our customers and where we see fit. It's really anyone with a Microsoft license, so Microsoft Teams or D365, they'll be able to use Solgari right out of the box. And with that, I think a good way to kind of demonstrate some of the customer use cases is to show you a customer use case that we've used and that kind of hits home. So I selected our customer, the Atlanta Falcons, just to drive home a quick industry use case on how the Falcons use Solgari. So it's a good name brand. Unfortunately, the Falcons aren't playing right now, but they at least got a win by purchasing Solgari and by using their Microsoft real estate end to end. So this customer use case is a good one because they used Microsoft Dynamics already, and they had Teams calling plans where some of their back office users were just using Teams to make voice calls. But the problem is that their sales and their customer service teams, they weren't communicating together, right? So sales had no idea when one of their clients had an issue with a ticket refund or an exchange, whatever it might be, and vice versa. And sales was still using their mobile phones to make outbound calls, and they had Dynamics licenses. They just weren't using it to the extent that they should. And so we did some consultative sessions together with our partner AT&T on how to best use Microsoft Teams first as kind of the unified app to manage all their conversations, but also on the Dynamics side where their salespeople could start tracking their conversations back into D365, and this hit home. So we were able to light up over 150 E5 licenses with Solgari for Teams. So that allowed all of their customer service and sales users to have the app right within Teams. And we also put the app within Dynamics for their sales team to make outbound calls, as well as our mobile application. And so this doesn't stop at Teams and Dynamics. We also come with a mobile app. And the reason that helps sell more D365 and get some pull through on that end of the business is that the mobile application actually stores all the call recordings back into Dynamics as well automatically. So the Solgari app, let's say you're on the phone out in the field, you can take a call or a WhatsApp message through your mobile app, and all that interaction history comes back to the single source of truth being D365. So it's a great customer logo here, and I'll share this deck with you guys a bit later on. But the whole idea of what this looks like across Solgari for teams and some of the real estate in terms of pricing, it's quite simple. So we've got 2 subscriptions. There's a Pro and an Enterprise SKU, and all of our subscriptions come with that Copilot that you saw in the demo video. The real difference between these 2 SKUs are how advanced is the customer in terms of some of the enterprise capabilities. So do they need intelligent IVRs or voice response within an IVR? Some of that self-service ability is done within the enterprise SKU. But to get your customers started in the SMB space, I know it's been a topic, is how do we get our customers to use more teams or use more dynamics, and they're an SMB user. They can start at $50 per user per month and have most everything I've shown you today. And each one of our SKUs is configurable per user. So if you have users that need things like automated outbound dialing or compliant recording and archiving, we just tick that box per user. So some users might have a full enterprise SKU, while others might have a very stripped down version and just need call recording within Teams. And so these aren't the SKUs that you're liable for. We can always strip down the license or bring more capability to them, but these are really the 2 where most of our customers fall into. But if you want more information on how Solgari can help you, for one, sell more dynamics and help you get more usage out of your Teams licenses, I would suggest that you go to the Pax8 marketplace. So I'll send these slides around again so you guys can take a look, but we're available on Pax8 marketplace, and we're a transactable app on the Azure marketplace as well. So you can find us really anywhere Microsoft. Kristen?
All right. Joe, thank you so much for joining us today and going through all of that incredible information. We super appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and flip on over. And just a couple of reminders as we wrap up today. I know that there was a ton of information, so please reach out to your account teams if you have any questions. I do want to call out, you can still register for Beyond 2024. We've got a Beyond happening in Denver. We also have one happening in Berlin. So please make sure you go check out more information about Beyond. Want to call out some hands-on labs. So if you go to Academy and you go to our Microsoft Hub, I think that Vandit or somebody will be able to pop the link in the chat for me. But there's a ton of information in there, and nestled in, as well as our Azure and Dynamics demystifications, we've got hands-on labs. They're free to you as partners through Pax8, so please make sure you go in, you register, and please make sure you show up. We would love to see you there. I do want to call out Technically Unraveled. So this is a YouTube show that I am lucky enough to be a part of. We have this every single week. As you can see on some of the little thumbnails, we're talking a lot about AI right now. So we talk about security, AI readiness. We talk about a ton of stuff that is focused around Microsoft and other vendors on Technically Unraveled. So please make sure you join. They're live on every single Thursday at 2 p.m. Mountain. But if you can't make it live, they're always on demand. Now, there's a lot of resources here. So we're just going to hang out here for just a moment. Lots of stuff. We've dropped some links in the chat as we've gone on, but this is your one-stop shop for all things resources that we have going on right now. Feel free to take a screenshot, or if you're watching on demand, you can pause as you need. Other than that, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with us. We have gone through, we're answering just the last couple of questions here, but thank you for being a part of Pax8, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everybody.